All right, what's going on, everybody? It is Halo MCR, and I have some G4TV news for you guys. As we already knew that G4 was facing major layoffs, no thanks to Frosk and Adam and everybody else behind G4 that came up with these woke ideas, just completely trying to turn video games into something completely different when it's not anything that anybody wanted. And in doing so, because of Adam Sessler and Frost Kern, we have some pretty bad news, actually. I can't see anything good with this. In our last article, we had talked about how there was layoffs and that almost all the employees were getting fired. We knew that Frost was one of them. No word on Adam Sessler, but I guess at the end of the day, Adam Sessler will technically be fired, as well as everybody else at G4, which it's a shame, really. I mean, at the end of the day, I do feel bad for what has happened, but again, I don't, just because they knew what they were doing. They knew that this type of shit has a lot of controversy behind it, and then telling your audience that basically if you don't support G4's woke ideology, it's shoehorning of Democrat, essentially, that you are disposable, you are useless to G4 unless you agree with them. Meaning like, oh, well, if you are part of the Republican Party, Adam Sessler, then you could basically go drink piss and die, or eat my shit, or, oh, you see my parents? They can basically go rot in hell while I sit here and drink a bubbly drink. So it became something way more than video games. It just became a bunch of woke shit that really pissed off just about everybody. I mean, I don't really need to say that because we already know this, but I just mean, like, literally, this channel was plummeting, losing thousands of subscribers every other couple weeks. G4 continued to do so with its Social Blade analytics, and now Comcast is stepping in and to say, we're shutting it down. You guys are done. G4 is done. So the final nail in the coffin for G4, there will be no Twitch streams on the side for G4 as an attempt to bring it back. Comcast has just decided, no, we're done with this. We're done with you guys. We're done with G4, which it really does make me sad because I had waited so long for the return of G4TV. And when it came back, I was excited. So was everybody else. And now we have this. Just literally, it's shutting down. G4's dead. It's done. Nobody wants to fuck with G4 no more. Comcast shuts down G4 TV just a year after relaunching the game-focused brand. Comcast has shut down its game-focused network G4 TV a year after relaunching the brand, according to reports Sunday. Over the past several months, we worked hard to generate that interest in G4, but viewership is low. The network has not achieved any substantial financial results. Comcast Spectre CEO David Scott said in a memo reportedly set to be sent to employees. This is certainly not what we had hoped for. Oh, well, I mean, I could have easily told you that this was going to happen, though. How did you guys not address the elephant in the room right when it happened that day, that minute that happened? I don't know. Unless Comcast is just so disconnected with their network that they had no idea that they were doing some shit like this, then now they know when their profits show and their revenue shrank and nobody cares anymore. This is certainly not what we had hoped for, and as a result, we have made the very difficult decision to discontinue G4's operation effective immediately, meaning Adam's without a job. Everybody that was involved with this shenanigans is now jobless, and their reputation ruined. Their reputation is now ruined, as these individuals that I've already named, Sessler and Frost and the other people behind these ideas, are now going to be remembered as the people that literally killed our childhood, as I've been dying for a video game network channel to watch when I'm not playing games. I like watching reviews for games. I like to know what else is going on in the tech world. You know, I like to have troubleshooting steps for my computer that things I never even knew. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm just gonna have to go watch Linus Tech Tips, which there's not a problem with that, but he's kind of all over the place with his content, with all due respect, because I am too as well. But there's not singled focused issues that I've been able to find on his channel that retain to me, while Tech TV, back before it was even G4TV, had simple computer solutions that anybody could run into every day. They reviewed software, they kept you in the loop on the newest type of components that are needed, and Linus does do that. So I mean, I guess that'll be the new tech guy, right? Unless you guys find somebody else. G4TV, which ran from 2002 to 2014, was relaunched in 2021 to tap into the popularity of gaming. We invested to create the new G4 as an online TV destination for fans to be entertained. And it was in the beginning, but little did anybody know that Adam Sessler was sitting on Twitter for a long time, shoehorning, just telling people, you don't mean shit to us. We don't want you guys as fans if you support this certain political belief, which is just asinine. How that did not get out sooner and more public so that I could have known this is beyond me. I didn't know this right away, but you would think with Adam Sessler doing that he'd have already been in hot water. People would have already been telling him to shut his mouth and just stop saying this shit on his Twitter, but it didn't stop him because he did it for several years. And then Frostkern, oh man, the mighty Woman, Frostkern, the leader of the Amazonian Womans, right, of justice, just sexism in video games. I have to really hard press this one, you guys, even though this pretty much came out of nowhere. We were talking about Red Dead Redemption. Oh, and some could say, well, the chat provoked me. Well, the chat did this and the chat did that. Man, this is the fucking internet. Wake up, dude. The internet's not always going to agree with you. The internet can basically do and say what it wants for the most part. I mean, there's certain limitations, obviously, but you cannot get mad that you are forcing us to like you when we liked Morgan Webb and we liked Olivia Mung, you know, some of the OG people to run G4TV. And again, I've already said this in my last video, which is fine. I don't mind repeating myself sometimes, but I'm sure that Morgan Webb seen the shit that was going on, and this is why Morgan Webb never came back. Either that or her modeling career, which is also fine. But if I was Morgan Webb and I seen Adam acting like a complete fucking dickhead and an asshole to people, and watching Frosk basically bring some kind of other agenda into this out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, just because she got mad that the chat didn't like her, or the chat was saying like sexist things, or this and that and this and that. Ignore it. Just ignore it. Like, let me give you an example. Like Keemstar, for example. He's always getting harassed, or people always just want to talk to Leafy, and that's all they fucking care about. What does Keemstar do? He ignores the chat. Once in a while, it'll come through and he'll say something, but he doesn't let his chat dictate his business. He doesn't let his chat basically control the narrative of how his mood necessarily is going to be that day. Maybe in the past. I'm not too big into the Keemstar lore, so I may be missing out on some things, but it's just my point. The point being is that if somebody like him can run a broadcast and not be inflicted by the chat, which the chat will do what it wants, it normally does. Could also be another reason, maybe you're just not really addressing their concerns, you know, and you're basically, again, shoving politics, shoving woke ideologies of the almighty fucking Amazonian fucking woman, and we need to rise up against the men, and we all hate men, because men are disgusting individuals, and we can't stand them. Right, okay, that is your opinion, but you used a platform that was meant for gaming to shove it down our throats. This is why ultimately G4 failed. That's why Comcast is now stepping in to fire everyone. You guys are all done. Get the hell out of here. You guys are done. And it just makes me sad because I knew it could be so much more better than what it was turning into. Now, if somebody wants to petition the idea that we get a whole new brand, new G4TV, just different name, and it actually focuses on goddamn fucking video games and tech and updates, maybe bring back American Ninja Warrior. That was all right to watch once in a while. Or the battle robots, that was also somewhat different. It was fine though, I fucked with it. That'd be awesome. But until then, we have no network at all for video games other than IGN, other than GameSpot, other than all these other places. And I mean, Linus Tech Tips too, he talks about games too, but you know what I mean. All these outlets that you watch your video game updates on, it's not going to be just on a network now. Now it's just going to be through YouTubers and through word of mouth. And that's not really what I wanted. I just wanted a network for video games like it used to be when I was growing up. When I was so into video games that I wanted to know the next video game coming out. I wanted to hear reviews of video games before I buy them. And now we get none of that. Instead, we get a pile of steaming shit that Comcast can't handle, does not want to handle, and calls them a financial liability at this point, ladies and gentlemen. As I thought I would never see this day come. I actually knew it was coming, but at the same time, I still had hope. I still believed that G4 was going to rise above this, but they didn't respond sooner. They didn't care. They just kept doing the same shit. They kept backpedaling on their statements, how they're for the gamers, and then calling us sexist, right? They call us sexist, and then turn around and have a Manaranth from Twitch come on in a bikini and suck hot dogs and talk about hot dogs burning on a grill, or, oh man, that wiener's real hot. You know what I mean? So, how does that make sense? It doesn't. And Amaranth was just a piss poor choice, in my opinion, that you could stoop that low. To have somebody like her come on your network is just embarrassing. It's just flat out embarrassing, in my opinion. G4TV, which initially ran from 2002 to 2014, was relaunched in 2021 to tap into the popularity of gaming. We invested to create the new G4 as an online TV destination for fans to be entertained, be inspired, and connect with gaming content, the memo reportedly had said. According to Deadline, a few dozen employees as well as contracted workers will be impacted by the closure. They're all going to lose their jobs. Though Comcast offered consideration for internal opportunities for some of those affected. Created by former Disney executive Charles Hirschhorn, G4TV was first run under the ownership of NBC Universal and Dish Network. The gaming-centric network rose to popularity. Hirschhorn envisioned it as a next MTV, which would have been awesome had it actually focused on that point, and it didn't. It didn't. And the minute that you seen Adam doing this shit, I don't know why he wasn't fired sooner. And Frost should have been fired day one. You guys also, Comcast, contributed to its neglect by not handling this shit the minute that it happened. Envisioned it as the next MTV and gave Olivia Munn, Chris Hardwick, Kevin Pereira, and Grace Hilbig their status as host. Despite shutting down in 2014, Comcast Spectre, which primarily focused on sports and live events, similarly had big plans for the brand and announced its relaunch during the 2020 virtual Comic-Con. Currently, G4 has pay TV distribution deals with Verizon, Fios, Cox, Xfinity TV, and Filio, as well as a multi-year agreement with Twitch. The network also made its content available on YouTube and social media, which is just dead. I mean, it's dead. Adam is not nearly getting as much views as he was before. I mean, I'm a channel with low viewership myself, so I can't really stretch on that one, but I can tell you that going from almost over a little over 100,000 views to plummeting to 15,000 views to 10,000 views for video is a disgrace, is an absolute abomination, you know? And I mean, there ain't no saving it. And it maybe could have had they just fired him. Again, this disconnection between Comcast, G4 as a whole, as a network of games, and the staff that are running G4 is just tremendously apparent, more than it ever was, and it just shows now as Comcast is just done. So what'll happen to G4TV? I have no idea, other than it's shutting down. So it's probably the end of G4TV. It is. It more than likely is the end. And will something else come out in the pipe works? I hope so. I would be down to watch something different that isn't G4 now, but I was still willing to give them a chance if they had just fired Adam and apologized for everything, and they did not. Instead, they fired Adam and fired everybody and closed the network down. It's a shame. It really is a shame. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I'm extremely disappointed. I'm hurt. I'm confused on what the next approach is for a gaming network. Hopefully there is one eventually in the future that ultimately learns the mistake that Frost and Adam and crew all contributed to making, because they had one chance. You guys had one chance, and y'all thought that was the best time to do that. Oh yeah, you get him, Frost. Yeah, you tell him, girl. Woo, woo. Well, guess what? Now you guys have lost your job, and you guys are screwed, and you're probably gonna have to sell your ass on the corner. Well, some of them resourceful individuals that will be just fine. Who's gonna want to hire Adam? Come on. He's good at what he does, and I'll always admit that Adam is good at reviewing fucking video games. He's really good at it, but he has a shit attitude. He has a shit philosophy on how people should believe when we're in fucking the United States of America. Freedom of expression, freedom of the right to believe in what we fucking choose to believe in. And Adam doesn't think that. Adam thinks that if you don't agree, then you're worthless. So, I don't know what else to say. I'm just completely distraught from this. And if anything else comes up in the meantime that is even important, that could spell another network or could indicate that they're relaunching, I'll be sure to let you guys know, as I always do. But even now, I just don't know. I just don't know. And Frost's mentality with going on Twitter and basically just bragging about the fact that she wasn't one of the first people laid off, that's ignorant, that's idiotic, it's stupid, and it makes me, which I can be a fool myself and I could be joking around this and that, it makes her look like the bigger fucking idiot than I've ever been in my life for anything I've ever done. You know, if I ran a network, I would never have thought to do that. Never in my whole entire life. So I'm pretty sure anyone, even myself, okay, could have ran that network 10 times better. And it just, yeah, it's a goddamn shame, you know. So with that said, I'm out of here this morning with your guys' G4 emergency news update. And I can't tell you guys when that will subscribe because of this type of content. I can't tell you when I'll be doing this again, as they're shutting down. So, I mean, what else is there going to be to report, really? But I don't know. If you guys still want to support the content and consider subscribing, I mean, I would appreciate it. I've met so many cool people because of this whole G4 controversy. You know, some people I even watched still to this day because of it. You know, and I would appreciate having you guys on board. If not, it is what it is. You know, I am very proudful on freedom of expression on this channel, very much so, and very straight to the point, unfiltered. That's just how I roll. Everyone's gonna have their different criteria and their ways of how they enjoy their content. That is totally fine. Either way, I appreciate you guys even being here to watch this. I appreciate my members, most importantly. So, and the subscribers and the support, just everybody. I appreciate everybody. Okay, you guys are awesome and continue to motivate me to make videos. And I'll see you guys all in our next one. Maybe a while though, so stay tuned.